universities, amidst other things, pushing for a nationwide protest in terms of university tertiary protest right there, where they have also said that, look, they're spending exorbitantly, in defending the power situation for the universities right there, and that it is not funny, right? For want of the actual, numerical figure that they say that they have got to pay, but I would know that it, amounted to billions of naira. And then there was also this conversation around it. The conversation was, don't we have, people within the elect departments, professors, doctors, master's degree holders, smart whiz kids, in these universities that could indeed allow for these universities to, even if it's as a project, to put together, whether it's a solar energy source, whether it's the one from the water, whether hydro, whatever it may be, to at least equal the equation, or ameliorate the situation such that our universities, our tertiary institutions would indeed have, power supply. And you and I also know that coming to mainstream society, right, power supply, power is a very integral part of doing business. I mean, if there is a steady or constant power supply, imagine, how much growth, development, capacity we will be building for our respective businesses, as many businesses in the country mostly thrive on power, right? And you and I also know the back and forth that's been going on with that sector as well, where Nigerians are beginning to call out to the federal government, call out to the NERC, to NEC, call out to the, governing bodies, to do the needful. Just recently as well, we saw on the front page, right, of a newspaper today where a particular disco might be facing sanctions for metering, change and all of that. And quite a number of people are saying, hey, please don't let anybody change your meter and all of that. I mean, it's just a lot going on, yet we do not have the right words to speak them all, because somebody once engaging with me said, UD, if we spoke about what's going on in this country, we will talk from now up until eternity. And to imagine eternity equating Nigeria's situation, well, your guess is as good as mine. Well, my name is Udwak Daniel, and yes, we will be looking at Nigeria's state debts hitting 11.4 trillion naira amid rising federal allocations, right? Nigeria's state debts hitting 11.4 trillion naira amid rising federal allocations. That's what we'll be looking at. And to engage this conversation with us would be our guest, right? But for some hiccups on the roadways, he won't be, is still trying to make it, on here. We appreciate him for that right there. But yes, is in the person of Mr. Yusho Aliyu, right? He's an economic analyst, and he has always done justice, to these conversations as this. But then let's also just look into some of the, key issues that has led to the depreciation of naira. I mean, naira is expected to weaken from 306 naira, to a dollar in 2018 to 1,993 naira to a dollar in 2028. I mean, look at the stretch of years right there, if I'm not mistaken. That will be spanning around 10 years, right? 10 years. Right, 10 years it is right there. So impact on medical, devices, the markets, the medical devices in the markets will face operational demand challenges due to the weakening naira. So it is expected. There are some growth prospects though, but despite challenges, Nigeria's medical devices market is projected to grow to 171.1 billion US dollars, 171.1 billion naira. Which is approximately 344.7 million pounds, I beg your pardon, by 2028. And Nigeria's economy is expected to recover in 2025, and it should have a growth rate of 3.0% predicted for 2024. Now, these projections, though, I might also add, highlights the need for Nigeria to addressing its economic challenges as well as diversify our economy just to reduce the reliance on imports. It is important. Now, Nigeria's state debts have reached an alarming 11.4 trillion naira as of June 30th of 2024, and this is despite increased federal allocations. I mean, this represents a 14.57% increase from 10.01 trillion naira in December, right, of 2023. Now, the Debt Management Office, the DMO, reports that external debts for states and the Federal Capital Territory, the FCT, had climbed from 4.61 billion US dollars to about 4.89 billion US dollars, while domestic debt dropped from 5.86 trillion naira to 4.27 trillion naira. Now, there are some key statistics right there, but I mean, Lagos State, in the face of all of this, has the highest debt burden at 885.99 billion naira. That's Lagos State. Which other state is following now? We're talking Rivers State. Yes, the same Rivers State, where former minister, the Minister of Federal Capital Territory now, Nyesom Wike, used to be, the minister, the governor in Rivers State, before now, right? Siminalayi Fubara is now the governor of that state. Rivers State is carrying the second position with 389.20 billion naira, and Kaduna State 146.29 billion naira. And on the other hand, you should take it to the south again. Delta State has achieved one of the largest reductions in debt stock, decreasing its domestic debt by 30.36 billion naira. Now, what are economists saying? Economist Paul Alaje notes that debt servicing and loans can limit economic development, especially at the subnational level. Now, Professor Segun Ajibola, who happens to be a former president of the Chartered Institute of Bankers, has lamented that inadequate oversight and accountability have resulted in minimal economic benefits for grassroots citizens. Now, what would be the concerns? What should be the recommendations now? The Fiscal Responsibility Commission, right, has expressed concerns over Nigeria's current fiscal federalism, as in the structure of federalism that we practice, which quite a number of persons says it is, a quasi-federalism that we practice. And they have also warned that it may be unsustainable, right? And to address this, though, experts have recommended increased transparency, accountability, and even fiscal discipline. But then the conversation is still on right there. I mean, if you recall that just before this administration came aboard, right, the former administration, the Buhari-led administration at the time, while leaving office, said they had left about 37, is it billion naira now? Billion US dollars in reserve, foreign reserves right there, and that's what they prided themselves with. But upon the Tinubu administration coming in, we have seen that it is a total sham. It was a total lie. It was a brouhaha, as reports, credible reports, right before us had shown that we are depleted to 3.7 is a trillion now, trillion US dollars, as against the 37, is a 0.1 a trillion US dollars that the Buhari administration had said they left as foreign reserves. And it becomes very, very shameful, especially to think that every now and then we keep talking about the same thing. We see the integers, but we keep putting our heads right into it without having, a thoughtful recourse into saying that, hey, what can we do to get things rightly? Does it seem as though we are making, one step forward and 3 steps backward? Are we in a state of stagnation? As, the business mogul, when he visited Nigeria, I'm talking about Bill Gates, had said that we are in a state of stagnation. He said it in our soil. He said it right here in Nigeria, yes, that we are in a state, our economy is in a state of stagnation. Why can't we open our eyes and assemble all the experts? I mean, this current administration has got experts, economic experts here and there, who have looked into these issues, and it does seem as though, even though they're putting efforts, together, it doesn't really seem to have the multiplier effect, in our day-to-day lives, and that is raising some concern because the country's fiscal challenges, are rooted in its complex, political economic history. I mean, Nigeria's oil-dependent economy, has struggled with fluctuating global oil prices over time, corruption as well, inefficient resource management, name it. We have been struggling with all of this, and my thought would be, and I'm sure you share the same too as I, for how long will we continue to do this blame game, bickering here and there, acting as though we don't know what we are doing? For how long will we continue to, starve the society, the Nigerian masses, of, some levels of dividends, economic dividends? For how long would we continue to lament and cry over spilt milk when the solution, is right in front of us? Experts have come out to saying that we should build more industries. We should have an industrialized Nigeria. But are we seeing that already? But rather, it does seem as though not just the federal government borrowing from the World Bank now, not just the federal government, borrowing from or staying indebted to the IMF and even the Chinese government and all. States are also doing the same thing and accumulating massive debts despite increased federal allocations. Recall as well that the idea of removing fuel subsidy was that so that monies will not be in just the hands of a few people, and all of that. But now that it has been removed, and although there is some subsidy payment that for the federal government has didn't quite really come out. Well, yeah, they did come out, not officially though, not in the official way as it was announced that subsidy is gone. But yeah, where we are still expending is at about 5.4 billion US dollars right there. Is a trillion now on subsidy payment and all of that. But now that we feel that we have so much money to go around and all of that's being shared among states and all, why do we still have to continue in this heinous act, I would say, that is sacrilegious, and inimical to the very life spring of the average Nigerian? Isn't that the question that you're asking? But yes, Mr. Yasho, I am super excited that you made it. I mean, I understand the challenges on the roadways and all of that. Thank you for still making it, into the studio. What would be your thoughts? I mean, Nigerian states debts hit 11.4 trillion naira amid rising federal allocations.
My apology to the station and listeners. Wike is working in the FCT.
Okay.
That is what has caused my delay.
Oh, okay.
Along from Katampe to Bega, there is a work going on.
That route.
The road expansion and the new bridge, and that caused commotion. So all of us suddenly appear to witness, but it's a good thing. Having said that, rising debt It's a crisis already, but it is a long economic problem that Nigeria was having. Unfortunately, from time to time, expert advice is not put into use by politicians. Politicians thought they want to make name, and they want to impress communities. Leadership is beyond impressing individuals and creating economic problem for them.
Right.
A household. This time around, I will leave federal government, I will leave state, I will leave local government.
Okay.
I will dwell on Odwak household.
Okay, my family.
Your family.
My
exactly,
family.
yes.
Right. Okay.
You work with budget, and your budget is always based on your income, expected income. So once you exceed limit of your income in your budget, you stand to have a deficit budget.
Right.
As once you have deficit budget and you keep on expanding it, then definitely you will be a borrower to creditors, especially from the household management. That's why you see many people online loans is going into trillions.
Online loans.
Yes, because the access now, there is access to it, and individuals are cutting their expenses not according to their size of income,
Right.
but according to the size of opportunities outside. That's exactly what applies to government, because there is avenues at which you can source fund domestically and then internationally, and they are thinking probably that if they can do that to secure second tenure, it will be good for them. The worst scenario happens during Muhammadu Buhari's era, and is as a result of mismanaging a lot of macroeconomic tools that should have been used to stabilize the economy. Let me quickly dwell on a simple analysis that every Nigerian will understand. In 2018, Abuja Kaduna Kano Express Road was awarded by the Federal Executive Council at the cost of 155 billion. Did you see the range? Did you see the kilometers?
Right.
But because the economy was a little bit sound, the total budget as at 2018 was just 155 billion. But unfortunately, after constructing Kaduna to Zaria, almost finishing Kano, the backlog of work that is standing by from Abuja was reviewed to 740 billion.
Wow.
Did you see why state must go and borrow? When you fail to stabilize, to use macroeconomic stabilizers to stabilize the economy so that the currency can be functioning, so that efficiency will be there, so that income will not be eroded. Remember, inflation as defined by economists, which is well accepted as a persistent, seemingly irresistible general upward in price level, is affecting government, is affecting businesses, is affecting individuals. For Uduak, all your income has been eroded. For me, all my income has also been eroded.
Right.
If I can use last year as small as 350 naira to have a PMS liter, and today I am using that same PMS liter above 1,000,
Over 1,000.
that will erode my capacity
Totally.
if income remains unchanged, because there is a difference between those on fixed income and those on flexible income. Even those on flexible income, they are in a very serious dilemma, because once those on fixed income cannot be able to afford what is in the market because of that flexibility, purchasing power drops.
Well, let me talk about pressure, because
Yeah.
you made mention using me as an example,
Yeah.
and all of that. Would you say that after you made mention of is it 165 million naira?
No, 155.
155
Yes,
for the roads
at 2020,
2018,
yes.
yeah? And
It was reviewed
to
in November, 740
This November.
and the kilometers are not
Was it November
as what
November this
yes,
year
by the
to
fact,
740
billion. Yes,
naira.
and the contractor has to also be suspended. The contractor that supplied the price of 155 in 2018 can no longer sustain it.
Yeah.
And therefore the company has to be suspended and new contractors has to be.
So the new contractors have now said 740 billion naira.
Yeah.
My point now would be, is this why the states, because when you made that statement, you were trying to make a case for states, right? Would you say states are so pressured that they would have to resort to borrowing even in the most unconducive situation?
A dual-edged sword. You can either borrow and execute critical project or infrastructure for the state, or you leave it and generate new funds. In your analysis, I was following from the beginning.
Yeah.
Rising.
Yeah.
Revenue sharing between tiers of government as a result of subsidy removal.
Exactly.
All our thought and our assumptions, is that if subsidy is removed and the payment system is shifted to consumers,
right?
Because now I pay, now you pay, now listeners are paying,
right,
with the price of PMS, either directly or indirectly. So that previous payment, which was government income, ought to have been used to disallow borrowing, because they have an expanded funding system, because the money that ought to have been spent in subsidy is now with the government. And we thought probably they have to reduce borrowing. But for the state, you mentioned
Lagos. On the high side.
On the side and Kano.
And Kano, yeah.
Exactly.
And Kaduna.
And Kaduna,
yes.
So let me jump to my state, Kaduna.
Okay.
And give you a background that whatever you do is coming back to you. Whatever I do, if I choose to insult UD right now, that same insult is coming back to me in a different manner.
But not immediately.
Not it can be immediate. It can be immediate.
So is that why
it's just coming back?
Is that why
it depends on the velocity and the chances.
Okay.
Let me prove what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
This was a state when Erufai came as a governor, diversified the economy, built a new tax system, became one of the best apart from Lagos revenue generating state. But unfortunately for Erufai at that time, he wanted, despite the fact that he has created a domestic funding sources by disallowing leakages in revenue collections, decided to borrow. But unfortunately, sensible senators representing the state, including Comrade Sheikh Husani and two other senators from the state, block the National Assembly or the Senate from approving loan for Erufai. Then Erufai now became frustrated and decided to deal with those senators. While coming back to be elected, he fought them to ground zero and replace them with the present governor of Kaduna State, Ubasani.
Right.
And Ubasani came to the Senate, hold a very special responsibility of the chairman banking. Do you understand? And then allow El-Rufai to borrow. After allowing El-Rufai to borrow, going to the next election, Ubasani becomes the governor. And now he saw it clearly and he's shedding tears. That there's too much debt to the state.
It's too late to cry.
It's too late to cry.
Right.
But what's the implication of states borrowing
The implication,
on Nigeria?
the implication is that new funds that ought to have been used for new projects will be disappearing, and that is why over 90% of all generated revenues is going for debt servicing. Let me confirm to you, 2024 debt servicing in the budget above 8.9 trillion in 2024. Now, if you take 10-year parameter, that is 2014, what was the entire budget of this great nation in 2014? It was the last budget by President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan of 4.6 trillion. So it will become more shameful, more disturbing, and more ridiculous if you find after 10 years of the whole federal budget of 4.6 trillion, now we are servicing debt with 8.9 trillion, nearly double of that budget.
Let me say your thoughts. Let's just go head out to pay some bills right there. We're still conversing with our guest, who is in the person of Mr. Yusuf Aliyu, who is an economic analyst and looking at a topical issue, Nigeria state's debts hitting 11.4 trillion naira, especially amid rising federal allocations. We'll get back with you in a short bit. Let's head out and pay some bills.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Wow, this feature phone is so good.
Which phone is that?
It is the Itel IT5627. It comes with a 2500 mAh battery, which gives you 55 hours of standby use. Type-C charger, triple SIM slot, 3.0-inch screen, plus the 24 months warranty of worry-free use.
Huh? 24 months warranty?
Yes, go and get yours. Itel IT5627. New Itel, new experience.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Have you heard of the latest car maintenance, overhaul and repair service center in Abuja?
Oh, wait a minute.
BB Empire Motor Services Limited is the place. We offer a wide range of services which include full engine repair, brakes and discs, lubrication, industrial spare parts fabrication, digital diagnosing, injector and rotor servicing, wheel balancing alignment, vulcanizing, spare parts of all cars, car checker, recovery of vehicles, AC servicing and repairs of all kinds of cars. You can visit us today at a state-of-the-art multi-digital workshop located at plot 1374 Cadastral Zone C16 along Julius Berger Road, Idu Industrial District, Abuja. You can also call us on 080-6433-3100 or 090-1066-0869. BB Empire Motor Services Limited, the solution for your car needs and services.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Please listen to this infomercial.
Hello Nigeria. Hello Africa. Do you want to work in the healthcare sector? Do you want to be a trained certified nursing assistant, medical assistant or caregiver? If yes, then register to enroll for Push Africa's one-year diploma in certified nursing assistance training happening at the African University College of Science and Technology, Abuja. Targeted trainees are unemployed graduates, O-level or ordinary diploma graduates, or anyone interested in working as a support worker in the healthcare sector. For details, log on to www.pushafrica.org or WhatsApp 080-339-42015, 080-550 45801 080 339 42015 080 550 45801. For registration, pick up application form at our partner radio stations or visit the reception at the African University of Science and Technology, Abuja.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Hello everyone. This is a special invitation to tune in to Eagles 102.3 FM for the Safe Spare Connect program with Town Planner Ibrahim MT, the safety doctor. If you're looking for more information and guidance on the morality of life, health, safety, security, and the environment, then this is the show for you. Join us every Tuesday from 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. for an hour of insightful discussions, expert interviews, and engaging segments that will keep you informed and safe. Don't miss out. Mark your calendars and make sure to tune in to Eagles 102.3 FM. Stay safe, stay informed, and connect with Safe Sphere Connect.
From Milky Way to Earth, everywhere there's internet, you can connect with Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Log on to our website www.eaglesfm.com. Follow and engage with us now on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok at Eagles FM Abuja, Instagram at Eagles FM 1023. Download our apps on your Android and iOS stores. Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, your radio experience you can count on.
Right, you can join the conversation right here on Eagles 102.3 FM. Abuja, Nigeria state debt hit 11.4 trillion naira, and amidst the rising federal allocations, and quite a number of experts are saying that as the Fitch, that's the BMI, a subsidiary of Fitch, have projected that by 2028 will be the exchange rate will be 1,900 plus, to a dollar and all of that. Experts are also saying that, look, this debt, should we continue in this path as we are, the economy would have been totally powerless, and that it will increase beyond the 11.4 trillion naira projection, which many are now beginning to call, as well as our guest in the studio, Mr. Yasho, saying that, look, if something needs to be done and done fast. But then there are some conversations that would also trend, but you too can bring your voice in. 0907 353 0044 would be that number, or you call 0908 766 8888, and the WhatsApp portal number 0909 705 4450. Is it okay for states to also engage in borrowing, especially after fuel subsidy is gone announcement, and we're supposed to have some sort of monies at this point in time? Hello and good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr.
Yes, good
Daniel.
morning to you, please.
Yes, I greet you. I want to greet you in a special way.
Thank you,
They
sir.
have spoken so extensively, have spoken so well. My name is Undu, taking
right,
from our state.
Welcome.
And I want to begin by saying that we have been seeing and hearing government from time to time, borrowing from Obasanjo to Yar'Adua to Jonathan. And we have also seen, project, but Buhari's government came in, budget became a kind of an elephant budget that has no impact on we, the Nigerian people at all. And we also see where Buhari government happens to be, the borrow government, borrow so much and did little or nothing. That 8 years of President Muhammadu Buhari, all the money that we brought were something else. And we saw little or nothing on ground, which means that those money that we borrowed must have entered first pocket. And this is much unfortunate. I want to say that for a governor, for example, for Governor Basiki, that don't have some wins to leave office, I heard that, he wanted to borrow. How can you be trying to borrow money as a governor when you just have some few weeks to go? And for Obasani, I think, they said that if he's crying that there's a snake in his house, I did not go and help him to kill it. By the time that snake kill your neighbor, it will come to your house. The thing is that President tried to stop will back that, join suit. But, hence he refused. Today he will get the bronze. Thank you very much.
All right there. Okay. Well, you can as well join the conversation right there. That's Tech and B all the way from Nasarawa State. Remember, we have, social media platforms where we give you an audio-visual radio experience that you can count on. Talking about YouTube and Facebook, where you get an audio-visual representation of what you hear via your radio set. And that would be at Eagles FM Abuja. And do well to also get onto the WhatsApp portal number 0909-705-4450. Let us have your message, your voice notes, and let's see how we can push the frontier of this discourse, as well as find lasting solutions and give some credible suggestions to the federal government, so that they would not say that we did not do our jobs in trying to reach out to them, in trying to speak to them, in trying to do our own social responsibility, to first of all ourselves, and then to the community and the society at large. But I mean, there should be certain bodies that are expected to also galvanize some of these issues and advise the federal government correctly. Mr. Yeshu, do you think that they've done enough?
They have not done enough. There is Fiscal Responsibility Commission to regulate the fiscal responsibility of governance.
Right.
There is Debt Management Office to also synchronize and put the record straight and advise appropriate authorities on what to be done. There is nobody that can tell you that your generated revenue, 90% of it is going for debt servicing, and you continue to borrow. That is one. Two, I want to correct an impression.
Right.
There is time when our debt management was very fantastic.
Okay.
And it was just the political will of some single person with a professional. And that single person was General Olusegun Obasanjo or President Olusegun Obasanjo, when they entered into that window of debt buyback.
Oh, yes.
Nigeria was highly indebted to above 32 billion US dollars then, but it was buyback and discounted, and about 12 billion was paid outright, and we became zero.
Settle on
and
that.
That is what has brought stability to many of our structural projections. Let me tell you, simplest way not to get into more trouble with a BMI projection 2028 is simple. Let us look at our budget cycle and let us use the budget parameters to determine what to spend and what to be done. We are all tired. We don't want to hear our generated revenue is going somewhere. We want our generated revenue to have that, because a good tax must possess a principle of quid pro quo, returns benefit. That's, if you pay tax, as scholars are calling now, VAT was deducted in that transaction. That VAT should come back to the economy, not to go out of the economy for debt servicing.
Oh,
Do you understand?
okay. I get that.
Do you understand? Unless we narrow our deficit, we'll continue to have this problem.
All right.
Yeah.
Unless we narrow our deficit, we will continue to have this problem. And you mentioned something about political will, but how can Nigeria's government demonstrate, commitments to debt reduction, at this point in time?
I'm free to say that.
I mean, you remember the tax reforms?
No.
The tax reform that is still ongoing now.
Let me talk directly to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Right.
Mr. President, you are an accountant. Mr. Speaker, House of Representatives, my brother, you are an accountant, PhD holder for that matter. Do you understand? Okay, don't emphasize on taxes. We discussed this issue.
Yes, we have.
Let us speak like economists. Let us not talk like accountants in managing government. Do you understand?
So what would an economist say?
An economist will always say try and balance the economic parameters, but an accountant will always say charge so that our books will add value. Do you get the difference?
Yes, please.
Professor Charles Chukuma Soludo, an economist, a governor of Anambra State today, once says,
former central
bank governor, once is one of my mentors. Once says that if a medical doctor make a mistake, he kills only a patient and he will be fired. If an economist make a mistake, society perish. So
the entire society.
And that is why everybody is suffering. It's from economic sense. Some believe that we raise MPR. That's their belief. But they don't look at the condition at which the economic behavior of that domestic economy will react to that. Do you understand? It is a different thing if you put on, for instance, a short knicker and start walking on the road. In your village, you will be called a madman. In California, you will be called a guy man. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Culturally.
So it's relative.
It's relative. So that is why, please, our economic policies are not going well. And that is why there is complaint everywhere. There is no way the rich is complaining, the average Nigerian is complaining, and the downtrodden is also complaining. Then something is wrong. A governor is complaining of high debt, and he wants to add deficit.
But don't we have?
Did you understand?
Yes, Mr. Yesho. But we do have,
So it makes me laugh.
Agreed.
But then no, it's a budget season now. You will see the deficit from the state. It's November, December. The budget cycle January, December. So this is a time of budget planning. I was so happy. Sorry, Mr. Odi.
Yeah.
I was so happy when Yemi Oshibanjo came with zero-based budget that was developed by an accountant. Zero-based budget was budget of priority for business to thrive, but it can also be applied in a broader sense for an economic model for a state. But it has to be done with a more careful parameter arrangement, including what is your growth target. Look at the projection. By 2028, our growth rate target was 3.0. Look, where are we heading to with 3.0? Then how can we put a $1 trillion economy by 2030 if our projection still 3.0? So I have a lot of concern. Let us be more humane in taking certain economic models, especially in our appropriations. Governors that are now crying that they have a lot of debt, the only option they have on ground is to narrow their expenditure.
Okay.
And by narrowing, you go back to budget of priority. You are not going to impress anyone when you put all your generated income to service your debt.
All right, let me put a peg to your thoughts right there as we take this call. Hello and good morning.
Barrister.
Yes, good morning to you, Obasanjo.
Obasanjo from Omali, Niger State.
All right, Obasanjo, let's get right into it. Talk to us.
Thank you. Our guest over there. Congratulations. We keep deal with the stations. Why? Because the stations always bring the brain box that we talked about the pains of Nigerians.
Right.
How Nigerians can move. But in the other side, I think that the government itself usually listens to all these analysts. If these analysts will become up in every state, you have been invited, telling the government this is what you have been selling, this is how you have been doing to generate your revenue. How do you generate your revenue? How do you expend revenue? All of this. all time, let me just ask these questions. You were saying a lot of big things during Obasanjo and Atiku Abubakar and co. These are the people that look out the boom box of this country and bring them to book. How do we generate revenue? How our revenue got to spend? But when those people out of office, a lot of issues there came, a lot of progress we had to make again. Why? Because it started to try to fix some things, to bring the brain box again. But the failure of this completely started from 2015 when President Buhari come. Nobody was not to listen to anybody in my state, Niger State. I am telling you, the debt rising of Niger State. I don't know. Tomorrow, what you see Obasani in Kaduna declare, that is what will happen in Niger State. They will no longer pay a salary. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Obasanjo, for that one right there. Obasanjo not feeling happy. Well, he said that we can take this back to agree with him for 2015.
Yes.
Right. But then again, I'd like to add, I mean, you and I know that, the idea of subsidy removal was to allow for us to have more monies, within the coffers. So to address, developmental, capital projects and all of that. Has it ever worried you where these excesses from the subsidy or the gains of subsidy removal monies have, been channeled into? Especially in the light of the fact that these states, as Lagos, a state as commercial as Lagos, is owing a whopping 800 and is a 30-something, billion naira, to debts.
All the gains made from the removal of fuel subsidy.
Yeah.
Inflation has gone away with them.
Inflation?
Yes, it has gone away.
Which is, what kind of inflation is this now?
The inflation.
Yeah.
As at present, released by Bureau of Statistics.
NBS, yeah?
32.27. It has reached up to 34% year on year. Do you get this thing? That is why I gave you a simple analogy to understand the effect of inflation.
Right.
You give a contract of over 400-kilometer road at 155 billion with a big giant multinational company, Julius Berger, but releases were not made and commitment were not made, then coupled with Corona that crippled everything.
And then maybe 10 years later.
And then 10 years later,
right.
You are reviewing less than 200 kilometers at 740 billion. This is what inflation can do to whatever you generate.
I wish we would go further, Mr. Yasho. I mean, but yeah, in a nutshell, what would you say would have been the panacea, for this state's borrowing, and indebtedness as it stands?
National Assembly should put a stop to state borrowing until they are cleared by their senators. Let people be aware that most of the borrowings is not yielding, it's not standing for the prosperity of the people, but it's always against the prosperity of the youth who are coming up and who are always being confused on what to do, either to have good life based on United Nations standard, human capital development. Health sector is deteriorating. Education is no longer lucrative. Inflation has stopped workers from working 7 days a week. Inflation has stopped performance of teachers and students. These are crucial issues.
Well, Mr. Yasho Aliyu, thank you for gracing the occasion today and speaking to us. It seems as though inflation, though having one name, has different faces, many faces right there, and cuts across every sector of the country. Well, thank you. I mean, we would look forward to engaging with you in future days, and we hope that the federal government will also take this as food for thought and do the needful. You said stop stop states
them.
from
Stop
borrowing.
Yes.
Right? That's the only
They
way.
are complaining already.
Right.
And
So
you
stop
can
them.
Stop them.
Okay. Thank you to you two for putting a call through and engaging with us. Well, the phone line still buzzing. Can't go any further. I don't know. For some reason, y'all decided to engage pretty late. But yes, I promise you tomorrow, same time, same station, we would have yet another conversation, pick up a topical issue, and have it discussed right here on this platform. This is also to put it out there that the views of the callers and the guests is not being informed or influenced by Eagles FM 102.3 Abuja. But this is where I draw the curtains and say, have a lovely day. Keep in mind, at 10 o'clock would be time for the Midday Extra Show right here. Don't go away.